I'm not single because nobody wants me. No, 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 no. I'm still single because nobody I want wants me. Huge difference.
Love is difficult, but it is also universal. It is the language that we all speak, whether we can speak the same language or not, across cultures, across time. If you, like me, also believe the old hippies, love is all there is, man. Therefore, there is a lot of pressure to get it right in a relationship with another. In a relationship in which we get to expose the deepest parts of ourselves, surrender total control of our life to someone else that they might hurt us with it. A sacrifice that is scary for some. The process of dating then is a trial period of sorts. It is both finding what you really want by experimenting, trying things out, but you also have to have fun. We have to find the person who is worthy of being shown our naked selves, both figuratively as well as literally. The person who will be lucky enough to see that. But as you can see online with a lot of the complaining around situationships, this new liberty of being able to date around is also used by people to never really having to invest in their connections. They can avoid opening up to anyone. They can just be vague with their intentions and therefore stringing people along that are willing to commit but unable to get that commitment by playing the roster and keeping you on the bench. And this is where we get at the core of the modern situationship. We get at imbalances where one person clearly likes the other person more, but this person is afraid that if they state their intention, they may scare the other person away. They don't want to be too clingy with their needs. The other person benefits of this because they want to keep the clingy person at a distance, so they never have to be tied down. And the way that this happens is that they never put a label on something, which sounds very spiritual and smart, but it actually is just a way to avoid actually having to invest or having to make your intentions clear. So that is what today's video is going to be about. One of the biggest problems in dating, in my opinion, the modern situationship. Now, I have made videos in the past talking about relationships, and you can see them here. However, I have seen a trend online as well, where people are just making dating unnecessarily tricky. I've been told that there are a lot of different stages between being single and in a committed relationship. Anywhere ranging from being in a talking stage, dating with someone, friends with benefits, in a dreaded situationship, and you can be exclusive but not together. Any kind of relationship, whether it be a friend or a relationship with a partner, requires you to open up. But unfortunately, people are reserving that exclusively for their romantic connection. I've made a video about that. I also get that it is very difficult for some people to open up, because you are afraid to get rejected. You are afraid that you might be too much. You are afraid that the other person will just walk off the moment they see who you really are. And out of fear of being hurt, and in an attempt to be loved, we do self-destructive things like rejecting someone beforehand so they won't be able to reject us later. We avoid opening up at all. And sometimes we twist ourselves into a pretzel to get to a version of ourselves to present to them that they might actually like, that is devoid of all our insecurities. But counterintuitively, the act of trying to present a better, more sanitized version of ourselves actually is a manifestation of our own insecurities. So when the more polished version gets rejected, it makes us feel far more insecure, because even our best efforts then are unworthy of love, so it seems. The very real fear of them finding out about us and therefore not liking that person for some inexplicable reason, I'm sure, is so strong that we just keep to ourselves. In a situationship then, if you are the person that cares more and therefore is being strung along by the other person, you're feeling like you are walking a tightrope, which you feel you're managing like a true acrobat. And I say walking a tightrope because speaking up about what you want and feel like you deserve and what you need are all of a sudden things that might upset the balance, and therefore you're not bringing it up. Another situation that I am relating to strongly is that what if someone tells you that you are too much when you are bringing it up? When you are bringing up yourself with all of your strengths, weaknesses and all your lovable quirks, what then? in our delusional minds, as being the person in the situationship who is avoiding bringing it up, we think that at some point they'll change their minds. Some point they will wake up to all the feelings that they'll have for us, and they'll be at where we are right now. And so until they reach that point where we are, we just have to keep up the act. Well, I'll tell you this from personal experience so you won't make the same mistake I did for so long. You should be way more afraid of never getting to show them the real you. Frankly, if you don't open up, you'll find yourself in a lose-lose scenario. If you successfully manage to make someone fall in love with you, you manage to trick them into falling in love with you effectively, the more sanitized version of you, you will always feel like an imposter. It will cost you lots and lots of energy to keep up the act, keep up the facade, because you are afraid at all times that the other person will leave you once they uncover your lies. Or in my case, if the polished version of you fails, you get way more insecure because even your best efforts failed, which gets added on top of the fact that you will never know whether the other person would have actually liked the real you better. And to be fair to the other person, no one owes you a second chance, and you'll always be kicking yourself for wasting a perfectly good opportunity because you thought you were unworthy of love and therefore never really showed that side of you. And on the other hand, the other lose scenario is that if you are keeping up an act, not really being you, your personal development will be stopped dead in its tracks. Let me say this. You cannot grow as a person if you are worried about the future or regretful of the past. You need to be in the moment because it requires you to be in tune with your emotions. You need to be able to try out new things and figure out whether that feels good or not, which means you'll do it more often and incorporate it in your personality or not. Being stuck in an act of what that version of you would like means that your opportunities to grow will be very limited. It will make life pass you by entirely. The deal about love, as I explained last video, is that it requires two people, at least, to open up to one another and see whether there is a vibe there, and whether that vibe resonates in a way that you make each other stronger. And the thing about vibing is that you two will inevitably have some differences, because you have different backgrounds, different opinions, different perspectives, different political opinions, you can have different appetites for traveling, you can have different communication styles, different love languages, different plans for the future. And the beauty about forming connections is that when it comes to friends and relationships, you two get to decide whether those differences will enrich your connections because you appreciate the other for those differences, or it can make it impossible for you two to see eye to eye. All in all, don't be afraid to open up and being called too much. If you're one of my close friends at watching this, of course these are all lessons that I'll have to learn myself still, bear with me. But I know that the right people will like you for you, insecurities and all. The right people will build you up, not tear you down. The right people will deal with your emotions with the care that they deserve, and the right people will make sure that you will feel loved because they will do their darndest to give them the same love that you are willing to give them as well. Remember, I return to this message a lot, you are worth loving as you are. But not everyone that you want to love will be worthy of your love. You don't get to pick and choose. I want to go a bit further than the self-help gurus that you might see on TikTok or YouTube Shorts that say that you should just get rid of all the toxic influences of people who don't treat you with the respect that you absolutely do deserve. Because I think that we also have a responsibility to be a good potential partner for the other. And that means that we are opening up ourselves as well. That we are patient with the other person and validating their emotions regardless of whether we agree with their origin or not. Honest, open communication cannot scare the right person away. So that means that we too should be open and honest about our expectations from the relationship. If you two then don't end up working out, that's fine too, but don't let you not being you be the reason that you waste each other's time, and I apologize for doing that myself. I'll try to do better in the future. If they cannot handle you, let them end up with less. Because you are enough, first and foremost. Don't let anybody else make you feel like you are not. And there we go. Season 2 is starting off strong. We have way more dating topics to cover, but we'll also get into some other political topics. I hope you like that. Make sure that you show me that by liking and subscribing, sharing it to friends that might need to hear this message, because I've been there and I hope many other people will be saved the suffering of 8 months of waiting. Leave down your thoughts in the comments down below and I would love to see you in the next video.